Chris Kruger. G'day Tracy, how are you?
How you going? Going well. What do you got there, boys?
We love the farm animals.
And we love farm machines. So there's just a whole heap of tractors and implements, and there's all sorts
All
of goodies
kinds of
here.
stuff. And I've got Lambert.
What's Lambert?
Lambert's about a lamb called Lambert. You didn't get that, did you?
Yeah, that's so original.
It is. It actually is. But yes, Lambert the lamb, one of our pets.
Beautiful. So you've got a whole heap of books for not just kid. I'm tipping that's a kiddie book, isn't it?
It is, but there's a lot of parents that like it as well.
Yes. And then I've got one here that's to do with tractors. This is probably intermediate, isn't it?
They start them pretty young around here, so
That's
everyone likes the farm machines.
They sure do. Yes.
Which was your first book?
My first book wasn't even a children's book. That was Shearing in Victoria's Western District.
Oh.
And I bought that out about 160 working wool sheds. It took me about 3 years, 25,000 kilometres.
Wow.
And a lot of time. That would be
I went through a bag of tricks and found it.
A very good product placement, thank you.
What inspired that?
My father inspired that. My father.
Nothing to do with this stuff here.
Oh no, that too. I love everything about the farm, and I love everything about shearing. I grew up on a sheep farm down near Warrnambool, and my dad is, he's just passed away, but my dad was a shearer, and that's how he ended up being a farmer. Shearing funded him enough that he eventually bought his own farm. And I spent all my summers so much time sitting with Dad. It was it's something I really enjoy. I raspouted for him. And so then I married into farming as well, naturally enough, here.
Keeping it all in-house here, aren't we?
Yes, we are. And so now we're involved with merino sheep and merino wool, and still very passionate about shearing. And probably around 10 years ago now, I was sitting there after shearing, and I'd taken a fair few photos of our shearing. I always photograph that for history's purposes, and I was contacted by a magazine that wanted to run an article, and I'd sent off my photos, and I think everyone had left after the shearing, and I was sitting there having a quiet coffee and thought, do you know, people don't get to see this. I'm so fortunate because I get to see this all the time. I thought people don't get to see this anymore. Once upon a time, everyone had a country cousin or country relatives somewhere, and they get to come and see the shearing in the summer, go and visit the farm. But that just doesn't get to happen anymore because, so many of us are in the cities. And so I thought, right, well, maybe I could go and photograph a few local sheds, and even if I published them in magazine form or did something, but I really think this needs to be chronicled, I really think this needs to be shared. So I knew where our shearing team were going, so I kind of rang up a few of them and said, where are you going next? And because you can't just turn up at people's wool sheds. It's not, you don't just show up with the photo.
Keep that in mind, people.
Yeah, you don't just show up and say, I want to take photos. You've really got to be introed in. And also with workplace health and safety, with biosecurity, all of those things, you've really got to take that in mind. So I would get myself introduced to a shed, I'd speak to the owners, I'd get okayed, and then I started just doing a few local ones, and then it got bigger, and it got bigger, and it got bigger, and it ended up being a 3-year process, and like I said, 160 wool sheds, 25,000 kilometres, and they're all in here.
And there's the end result.
Yes, and so I'm still going with that, but now I'm more doing historical sheds, and I'm hoping in the next couple of years to bring out another big one, probably 50 big historical sheds. They mightn't be shearing in them anymore, but it's just, I'm a bit worried about a lot of the big old historical sheds. Some are being able to be altered so that they fit workplace health and safety, some aren't. So they're quite often being retired, and they're such an amazing part of the country's history. And to just see them quietly retired, and nobody ever...
Rot away.
Yeah, and rot away. So I just really want to try and chronicle as many of them as possible before they disappear.
Oh, that's fantastic,
So I love it.
Keep the history for everyone to see.
It is, and my father brought me up to be enthusiastic about farming and especially about shearing, and it'd be a waste, wouldn't it, if I didn't turn that into something. So No, he passed away in February, and yeah, this was one of the things that he really loved. He's on the inside. It's dedicated to him. That's my beautiful dad, and yeah, he was shearing well into nearly to 70.
Yeah, right.
Yes. So
strapping young lad.
he was a very strapping lad. He was built for shearing. Yes. Yeah.
That's amazing. And now you've come to these books.
Right.
What was the inspiration for these books?
Well, do you know what started it? Was this because I started getting all these messages from these mums saying, I can't believe it. My boy won't read anything. And they said, we're sneaking into the bedroom at 11 o'clock and he's in there with the torch wanting to read more bullshit book. And I never designed it, I never designed it for your 10-year-old boy, but it was something that interested them and they wanted to read. And once upon a time, 25 years ago, I was a school teacher and I was very passionate about encouraging books.
So you knew a thing or two about books?
I did know a few things about books. And I was very keen about especially developing a love of books in boys, because they are a little bit different in how much they want to sit down and just necessarily read. We have to really grab their attention, but we have to grab girls' attention as well.
So you're saying now at the age of 35, I might actually read a book for the first time in that amount of time.
And so often the problem with boys not learning to read is that they're not being given the literature that they need. They're not being given the books that excite them.
Yep.
Whereas if you're have you got the farm machinery book
I do.
sitting there next to you?
That would be my type of book.
If you're
Trucks and Tractors.
if you're a 5-year-old boy that's not interested in, maybe not interested in a lot of things, but just only came to school because they're making him come to school and he'd rather it be at home on the tractor or helping dad out with the sheep work, this type of thing really interests him. So parents were speaking to me about that, about the need for something to engage their children to read. So the first one was We Love the Farm.
That would be this one.
And I thought this was going to be
I could read that.
Yes, it is. And I thought this was going to be the only one. So I jammed everything into this. This is your full farming.
It wasn't the only one.
No, it's not the only one. There's a lot now, because people really wanted them. So we started, and it's got everything. It's got cattle, it's got sheep, it's got shearing time, it's got harvesting, lambing, rams, turkeys, making hay. It's got all of the things.
Basically everything you do on this farm.
It is everything we do on this farm. Funnily enough.
Which is great insight for kids from the city. I know people that have never left Melbourne.
No.
They've not had the look at the sky without light pollution. A lot of kids in the city now they're on their iPhone, they're not doing it. So that's amazing. Are you getting these into certain places?
I am getting them into, I've got a certain amount of retailers and I do a lot via my website. A lot of getting into schools. But look, the thing that I love about it is that it doesn't just, you could say that it's designed to kind of teach city children about ag, but it also validates what country children are being reared on, all right? So they see this at home, they go to school now and there's books about it. There's things that validate what they're doing. If we want to have our children working in agriculture and be taking over farms, going off to work for other people in agriculture, which is a huge employer, you can't just at 18 say, right, well, how about you work on a farm? You've kind of got to ease your way in with the farm. It's not like a plumber could just start an apprenticeship and it's easy. To be a farmer, you've kind of got to have a little bit of insight, a little bit of knowledge about how it all works.
Definitely.
So anything like this that encourages them, validates them, enthuses them about farming early is really what we want. But yeah, we want those farm kids to really feel like what people value what they're doing, and that their choices of maybe staying in ag is a good one that people really appreciate.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that was the first one. And then of course it just got more and more serious after that. And so that's when we ended up with farm machines, we ended up with the farm animals, We've got little reader type ones about lambing and about where wool comes from.
And these have a bit of a cult following on your Instagram
They
page.
do.
I believe the little lambs wearing their jackets.
Yeah.
Didn't like the Richmond one.
I didn't like the Richmond one. Well, look, people, do you know the most amazing thing about the jumpers is that on my Instagram site, people have fallen in love with the fact that they're wearing the jumpers, and now people knit me jumpers from all over
really?
Australia. So the Richmond ones today, I would have probably preferred a red and black stripe, but
With a
I
bit
take.
of white in that would have been
Oh, you
perfect.
think? Well,
Yeah.
I'm open to that, but
But a lamb is white, so there
they
you
are.
go.
But people send me jumpers from all over Australia. They're very invested in the lambs.
Yeah.
They love seeing how well looked after they are. So that's how we ended up with Lambert wants a jumper, and that's my first made up story.
Oh, would you like to read a passage for us?
Oh, I could read a passage.
Oh, there
of
we
Lambert.
go. How delightful.
I'm open to a passage of Lambert. So, Lambert was a very happy lamb. He lived with his mum in a big green paddock on a farm.
Really?
Lambert and his friends loved to run and play. Sometimes he would wander too far. When this happened, he would always call out for his mum with a big baa. And look, children, there's real photos. But then, do you know what happened after that?
Don't wreck it for everyone.
He would always hear a loud bar straight back.
Oh, so Mum was about.
It was a bar like no other. It was his mother. Then Lambert would go, go again. Then Lambert would go running to his mum for a big cuddle and some warm milk.
Oh,
But what does Lambert do?
No.
One day Lambert was out playing near the edge of the paddock when he saw some lambs on the other side of the fence. These lambs looked different to his other lamb friends. They were wearing jumpers.
but Lambert didn't have one himself.
No, he doesn't, and that's the problem. All right?
Where is this going?
I know, where is this going? Let's see.
It's like a psychological thriller.
I know. Let's see. Now, look, don't spoil it for everyone.
I won't.
Hello, I'm Lambert. Why do you have jumpers on? Lambert asked. Hello, Lambert, said Ben, who was wearing a beautiful brown jacket. We are the farmer's pets, so we have jumpers and jackets to keep us extra warm. They look great, said Lambert excitedly. I would like to wear a jumper too. Then Lambert heard his mum calling, so he said goodbye to the lambs in jumpers and ran home. After his tea, Lambert couldn't stop thinking about the lambs in jumpers. Mum, I need a jumper, one in all different colours, with stripes and sleeves, yelled Lambert. Lambert's mum looked at him and said, Lambert, you don't need a jumper. You have wool and a nice warm mum to cuddle when it's cold.
It's not enough for Lambert. It's not enough.
Look, well, it should have been enough, but he made a very poor choice. All right, so Lambert says, but those lambs have jumpers and I want one too, Lambert yelled, stomping his little feet. Those lambs were sick or they were lost, so the farmer took them in to make sure they were looked after. They don't have a woolly mum to keep them warm, so the farmer gives them jumpers, Lambert's mum explained. And there we start having some illustrations. Now,
like
what do you think? Where do you feel it's going?
I feel like that's where some of it's going.
Some of it's going?
Yeah.
All right, let's see what he does. Let's see if he takes this line down. Well, I need a jumper too, said Lambert. You don't need one, Lambert. You just want one.
No, it's
what?
need.
It's need.
It's need.
You reckon?
It's need.
You go and play with your friends. Why don't you go and play with your friends, said his mum. But Lambert, you know what he's going to do here, don't you?
I've got a fair idea. Yeah.
But Lambert just had to have a jumper. So instead of going to play with his friends, Lambert ran all the way across the paddock. Then he lay down and he pretended he was lost and sick. Bad choice.
Which is ironic because they say don't cry wolf, don't they?
Yeah, well, he's not crying wolf. I think he's crying sheep. So later, when the farmer, who is me in this instance, that's me on a good day. Yep. Later, when the farmer came to check the sheep, she saw Lambert straight away. "Oh no," she cried. "You poor thing. You had better come with me." So she put him on the motorbike and took him home. And can you see Lambert with his little helmet on the back of the motorbike? Lucky Lambert.
So no chance for a jumper, but a spare motorcycle helmet flying him out for it.
No, I always take one of those with. The farmer gave Lambert a jumper right away. It was a beautiful jumper with stripes and sleeves. Lambert was very proud of his new jumper. Then she gave him a blanket and a hot water bottle to warm him up. He even had milk from a bottle. There he is, enjoying his life at this point.
Oh, giving us a bit towards the end.
Oh yeah, well, the farmer thought Lambert looked much better, so she put him with the other rescued lambs. Lambert played all day and made lots of new friends. He had so much fun. Can you see that? See? Lambert out having fun with his friends.
And a chicken.
There's
Friends
a
with a
chicken.
chicken.
Plenty of chickens.
Bit goofbags, those chickens.
But, you knew there was a but.
There was.
There's always a but.
Oh, it's a big butt. Started with a capital too.
But
Yeah.
something did not feel right. Lambert had his beautiful jumper with stripes and sleeves, but something still felt wrong inside. Why don't I feel as happy as I thought I would? Wondered Lambert. That's when Lambert realised it wasn't really a jumper that he needed.
What was it then?
Diamonds? No, not diamonds.
No.
I need my mum!
No,
Lambert
there
cried.
it is, yeah.
Lambert ran to the farmer and rubbed against her legs. She picked him up and asked, "What's wrong? Are you feeling sick? Are you warm enough? Are you hungry?" She gave Lambert a big cuddle. The farmer's cuddle was nice, but not as nice as his mum's cuddles. Lambert felt sad and he let out a small "bah." Then Lambert heard a noise. It was a bar coming from a long way away. The bar got louder and Lambert knew that bar. It was a bar like no other. It was his mother. Lambert jumped out
Up
of
and
the
about. Yeah.
farmer's arms and ran to the fence.
Still on the wrong side of the fence though.
Let's see what he does. He's got skills, Lambert.
Oh.
And jumped it in one big leap. He landed safely beside his mum on the soft green grass and he was back where he belonged. Now you didn't see the jump coming. Did you see the jump coming?
But now I've got to ask the question, why didn't he just jump over there in the first place and
Well,
get a jumper?
maybe he didn't know what she was. Yeah, he was a jumper.
Yeah.
I know, did you see what they
No
did there?
pun intended.
No. The next day, the farmer found Lambert's jumper hanging on the fence. There was a note attached to it. It read, "Dear farmer, thank you for having me. I had a great time. I have returned my jumper because I don't need it anymore. Please give it to a lamb who really needs it. Love, Lambert A. Lamb."
His handwriting is terrific.
I know.
For just a little lamb.
He's skilled. And that's exactly what the farmer did. So his jumper's gone to a new baby.
Everybody had a win.
Everybody had a win.
Yeah.
So that's how the lambs and jumpers ended up being a storybook.
There you go.
Yeah, with a little local illustrator did that for me. Well, we won't call her little. She's it was her first job of illustrating. So
Beautiful, and done a terrific job as well.
she has done a great job. So yeah, that's the journey to lots of books, and now I'm looking at writing junior fiction.
Oh.
Yeah, the problem is we can get them started reading some agricultural type books, but then when they get to the 8 to 10-year-old stage, there's not a lot of literature around to keep encouraging and developing their reading. So I've almost got it to the illustration stage, just little line illustrations every 8 or 10 pages, but junior novels. It's called The Farmer Twins, the first one, and it's about a 10-year-old twin, boy and girl, who live on a farm similar to ours, and it's all the adventures, plus they really want motorbikes and their parents don't think that that's really necessary, and I've told them they have to save up for it, so they've got to make the money.
Is this sort of based on real experiences?
Based on lots of real experiences. So a lot of the things in the books will have happened to me, happened to my children, been experiences that neighbours, all kinds of local people have had. But just that, again, that validation that the agricultural way of life and the farming way of life is a beautiful one, and that's something that they should all be proud of, and they can actually read adventures about kids who live like them, and the city children can get a whole different taste of a whole different lifestyle.
Well, they get a taste.
They would get a taste.
Yeah.
They would get a taste. Yeah, they'll be nearly able to smell the wool shed when they...
A bit like you can
Yeah,
now.
like you can
It's
now.
a very strong... Well, there would have to be 200 lambs in
There are two
here,
right behind us.
But,
So,
and that came off them.
beautiful merino wool.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Sustainable. Everything about it good.
Jeez, it smells good too.
It does.
Yeah.
No, it's magnificent. Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so you've got many sights and sounds on this farm.
I have.
You reckon we should go and have a look at some other stuff?
Why not?
Beautiful. Sounds good. Let's have a go.
No, you can pick them up. There.
Who are we getting? Get you.
There. Oh, sorry. They're just out. Yes, put up those little... Look at that. Okay, look at the legs.
okay.
Look at the legs on it.
Oh yeah. So,
There you go.
I gotcha.
Yeah, how good is the bone?
Now, what type of chooks? Looks like we've got a lot of different chooks. What type of breeds
These ones are just freshly hatched buff cochins, and they'll grow up to be a huge big bird. They're another heritage breed. And we've got Dorkings, all kinds of different breeds here. Australorps. There's a good general range.
And they've all got their own better eggs or better...
Some have a bigger body. A lot of them are heritage, and I just like preserving the heritage breeds. The new Isa Browns are fabulous for egg laying, but these ones, this is a Brahma.
Oh yeah.
He'll grow up to be a huge big bird.
Oh.
Yeah, well, no, not a Brahman,
Oh, okay.
a Brahma.
Okay, so it won't turn into a bull.
No, he'll grow up to be a beautiful bird. So there's all different, these frizzles, they look like they've been in the hairdryer.
Yeah.
This one too.
Scruffy little
Have a look at
fellas.
that. And they grow up to be absolutely magnificent.
No, you're not getting.
Freshly hatched this morning. And more are all hatching out over here. Can't get much fresher than that.
No.
And if you listened up close, you can probably nearly hear it pecking out.
Do you not give him a hand sometimes?
Very rarely.
Yep.
No, I don't interfere much with nature. It's a really delicate balance. If you go too early and think that they need help, and their egg sac isn't fully sucked back into their body,
Yep.
well then it won't be a success. So it's
Rightio.
easier
So make them work for life.
Yeah.
Is that what you're
Well,
saying?
it's a real business. If they don't get, if they didn't have their heat consistent the whole way through, they will keep growing and get to their 21 days, but they won't have enough stored energy to get out of the shell.
Okay.
So
Yep.
if they might get to this stage, and it takes an incredible amount of energy to actually get out of the shell, and they'll die at that stage. So you do have to keep an eye on them, but like I know they've had consistent heat.
Yep.
As you can see, this one's come out no problems by itself.
And he's happy days.
And he's happy, yeah, and he'll just fluff up more. The ones that you just saw, the buff cochins out in the brooder, they were a couple of days ago, and they have a couple of days in here in the constant heat, and then they go into the brooder. Oh, most of the time the chooks do the work, but these are just some of my extra eggs.
Excuse me, bar lambs. Would you like some milk? Milk's good for the little sheepies.
Oh, aren't they?
It's right here. Here, see if you just... Oh no!
Oh, okay,
Oh,
fine.
sorry, mate. Here you go. Come on. We require a little bit of attention here, thank you.
There we go. Yummy!
Come on, little fella.
Come on. There you go. I don't care if you bury
Oh, he's onto it. Oh, yummies. Oh, that's good for bar lambs, isn't it? Oh, yeah, get that into you. Do you want to share it about? Oh, here we go. Oh, we're fighting over it. Hello. Give me the little nudge. Like, all right, that's enough with these little fellas, I reckon. But you can see them on Tracey's Instagram page. Very, very famous little sheepies, these ones, aren't they? Hey? All right, I'm out of it.
I got the unicorn one.
Oh, cheers. Old warhorse. Okay, so we've got to talk up here because you have that many different farmyard noises in the background. I think we can see them there. You got sheep, you got cows, you've got chooks, dogs, turkeys. Is there anything else we missed?
Oh, the pet lambs. Everyone's trying to make noise on us today.
That's right. So thanks for having us today.
Oh no, look, it's been fantastic.
Yeah. And it's you, your husband, and your 2 kids on the farm?
It is.
Yep.
My daughter had to come back due to, circumstances. She'd rather be off in Melbourne or do it, but she's home here and she's been helping like an absolute legend, which has been lovely. But our son, he's come home on the farm in the last few years and he works with us here. My husband's off windrowing the canola. The kids are here doing the sheep work. It's the real family farm.
Beautiful. Yes.
That's awesome. Now, Trace, been here quite a while.
Well, I've been here for 26 years because I officially only married in, but my husband's family have been here since the 1870s. So, yes, the original part of the farm. 1870s, according to all the leases and titles and things. Oh, the titles, yeah. So, it's a long time.
And you've still got the original dwelling made out of bluestone?
We have got the original dwelling. That the talk is that it was shifted piece by piece from our other paddock up on the corner of the Dunkeld Road.
Somewhere up there?
Yeah, somewhere that way. And they shifted up by wagon, brick by brick up to here, and that was the original 3-room homestead here, and then it just got added to over time.
Awesome. Now, Trace, what does community mean to you?
I'm very passionate about community. I'm very passionate about farming, but I'm also passionate about my wider community. And look, nothing's made that more blatant, more obvious than the last 18 months when we've seen what happens when we can't be out and about in our community the same. We love locally here, we love our sport, we love our local footy team, and I'd do anything to support all those kind of organisations because without them, communities just die. So I love a tight knit community. It's one of my passions.
Oh, beautiful. Well said.
Thank you.
Said.
Thanks a lot for having us here today, Tracey.
Thank
you for reading to us.
Look,
we've had a
ball,
haven't we?
It's been a while since
the bill's in the mail. I hope you learned something. Did you learn something?
Oh, yes,
excellent. And that's all I want everyone to do. I just want that whole agricultural process, the whole love of farming to be going out to more people rather than just us. We get to see it every day. Nobody else does. So if a few of these kind of things, just get it out there, get it out and about, and maybe make a few more people passionate about farming or understand their farming, a better knowledge, and that's all that we can ask.
Oh, thank you very much.
No problems, thank you. Good to meet you.
See you next time.
Thanks, thank you.
Cheers. Cheers, guys. Catch you later. Well, that was a fun experience, wasn't it, Flemo?
I had to have someone read to me again, and it was awesome.
Yes, it's been quite a while since that's happened, and it was a good story with a good twist at the end, wasn't it?
Well, exactly. That's the good thing. People doing things for other people to, on the big, largest scheme of things is the kids, the local kids, the country kids are all going to learn something from those books. Where their produce comes from, where the animals live, how they're treated, and all those wonderful things. So, Tracey Kruger is doing powerful things.